All right, I'm welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Friday, December 1st, 2023. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading, alerts, analysis, and live day trading. By the way, it's been a really good first month in the live day trading room. Took another winner today on Dell, so got over 4% on the last quarter of that. But nice entry here this morning, 69.40, and really nice bid off the lows there. So really nice scalp in the live day trading room. Been having a lot of fun doing that. The last month, I believe, 14 winners closed out with 5 losing trades, so almost 3-1 there. So if you're interested in that, it's on carnivoretrades.com under active trader. Anyways, let's get into it here today. So markets. Finishing up just over 0.5%, and we did close above Wednesday's high. I wasn't sure if we were going to do that at one point. We did pull back a little bit intraday, but you're going to see we are above Wednesday's high, obviously, as well as this trend line. So big move here for the bulls, and you got to give them credit. So markets, they're overbought here. We did consolidate for 5-6 days. But, I mean, still very stretched, and bulls still able to push this higher. Yesterday, I didn't get a chance to talk about this, and I was doing the video a little early, but we definitely saw end-of-month flow, right? So that's what that big surge in the end of the day was. And one of the examples I was using earlier was, like, look at Amazon. This was just getting hammered, not really hammered, but it was down all day long. And then all of a sudden, you just had this big outside move. So certain stocks that were winners, look at Microsoft, it was getting hit all day long, and all of a sudden, big pop, right? So these pension funds and so on and so forth were forced to buy, forced to pay up for it into end of month, 401ks, that type of deal. And I think that's a lot of kind of what happened there. Now, today, we obviously had another rally. What was the cause? Well, I called this out in the trading room this morning. I said, I think they're going to take this to 4,600. We saw the gamma pin right there. People are going to say it was a dovish Fed. It's a dovish Powell at 11 o'clock, the speech. I think the market had already made its mind up. We got a little initial dip on his comments saying that he would support a further restrictive stance if necessary. He did also say that he thinks that policy is essentially like a sufficiently restrictive, a sufficiently balanced. The market takes that as we're done. And it doesn't take much, right? The markets don't need a whole lot to rally, right? So they'll sniff out any sort of dovishness and they will run with it. And now I think I read 80% chance of rate cuts by March. That's going to be interesting when you consider, reverse repo runs out in March. And so does BTFP. So that's going to be gone in March. I was floating this kind of idea in the chat earlier. What if we get to all-time highs and the Fed cuts rates? That would be very interesting, to say the least. But in any case here, the market's having a strong week. Let's get back over to the SPX. I prefer that better. But next levels here, 46.07 and 46.37. I know we've had a nice run here, and it's defied gravity. I thought we would have pulled back by now. But I would be really surprised if we got through this level without some sort of weekly consolidation, right? That doesn't even mean we have to, it doesn't mean we got to go back down to 4,300, but some type of a weekly pattern here, just a big level. So in any case, you can see here, again, going back to the April, technically March high of 2022, combined with the high of this year. So that's a big level for the markets, and we'll see what kind of pattern we get. Again, we are still overbought, but when the bull rages, sometimes this is just what happens here. So SPX having a nice day there, up 59 basis points. The triple Qs, again, second day in a row lagged, right? No new 52-week highs for the Qs the last 2 days. Now, pattern-wise, it's still fine. We're closing above 387.98 on a weekly. And you're still inside of this green, so that's fine. There's no problems here. But the last 2 days, we have seen a rotation out of Mag 7. What has been taking that place? Well, the Dow, new 52-week highs, we talked about that yesterday. Look at this. Up another 85 basis points. That's a big move for the Dow. The Dow does not move, especially in 2 days. We're up, almost like I think over 2% now in the last two sessions alone. That's a big move for the Dow. The Dow's 30 blue chip companies, so it's not Teslas. It's not Carvana's, it's blue chip companies. They're not supposed to move this quickly, but again, CRM having that big pop yesterday and the continued higher today, and then UNH did pull back, but yesterday a big pump, and that did help out. The Dow, again, Goldman up 2% on the day. Again, these are three big Dow components. It's price cap weighted. But we're seeing rotation into some of the things that were losers all year long, and everybody's looking to get rid of these winners, cut these winners, and get into other things. The Dow, I would say, there's a little bit of a level here at 365, but ultimately, I think this can get right back up to double top, and obviously make new highs. So the Dow having a big, and again, speaking of overbought, right? This didn't even consolidate this week. Really, it just kind of floated up. So just be aware of that. But in any case, that's what's getting rotation. And the big winner on the day, IWM, Russell 2000, 3% pop. That is an inverse head and shoulder that is triggered up to 189, 190. Again, we talked about this pattern here. That is a pattern to go higher, and that's what it did today. We were lucky enough to catch this one this morning for a nice gain in the money nicely on UWM here. So nice pop there for us in the trading room. But in any case, IWM wants to get up in that area. Everything small caps was good, right? UPST up 21% here. Carvana up 12%, right? You could make a case a little bit of a dash for trash. GME was up 20%, the other 25% the other day. So a little bit of that going on potentially. Take a look at Kathy. I think I read, I'm not sure if this is true, but I think I read that she had her best month ever in this ETF in November. And, SPX, the spiders, was a record-setting month, I think. It was definitely up there in as far as the best performing Novembers of all time. And again, that's why you're seeing those pension funds forced into this market here. End of day yesterday, and probably a lot today too, being at the first of the month. So anyways, IWM having a nice day. That's the target up there, that white trend line. SMH here, just up 0.5%, held the 20 moving average. It did slice into the gap again. Semis, think NVIDIA, big names, right? AMD was red earlier. It did manage to come back. Intel took a pretty big hit, down 2%. So again, these kind of big tech names starting to see possibly a little rotation out. By the way, Intel, that's a wall right there on the monthly. So that's going to need to do some stalling out there, but just had a nice rebound over this year. But in any case, semis fractionally higher here. There's the SOX. And again, nothing wrong with the pattern here, but again, seeing some of the weakness here in some of those tech spaces. And what is not weak is IGV. That's going to go to 400. Right? I got a line here at 399. That's the red bar high, breakdown bar from Jan. And then you have these pivots just above that. In fact, let's just go back on a daily so we can look at them more precise. So again, you can kind of see there's your weekly red bar, and then you got those pivots just above it. So right in that area, and we're above the 382, 383 area. We got above that the other day, and big power move. Again, resistance is right here, right around 400, maybe a pierce of that, but Workday, Salesforce, CrowdStrike, all those, Intuit, all performed well this week. Look at Salesforce, CrowdStrike. They all reported earnings, and they all had massive moves, so that just dragged up cloud software. So IGV will look at a pierce of 400 here as the next level. Another sector getting rotation, Dow Transports, so up 3%. Again, what I've been saying, this is a pattern to go higher. Inside bar, would have thought it may have needed to do a little more consolidation, but it's a powerful move, up 3%. Next level is 15.6. If you get through that, I'm just going to say 15.8 to 16. But this is your next level here on the DJT. Again, that's the former inside bar pattern, failure, retest, got through it, bear flagged it, down. So we're coming up to it again. So markets love to go back to these old point of controls. All right, let's get over here to interest rates here. So we got a one-day bounce. So I talked about this level, and it held for a day. So I thought we could get back up to 480. That was not the case here. Lows got taken out. Next level is right around 450. There's a pivot right there. Psychological number there for the 2 year as well. But the big level that we'll watch here moving forward, we'll just put it in. We're just say 425, okay? So right in that area, that's your big level. You got a pivot there, and that was your breakout. So that's the big support now for the 2-year. Again, you get a little bounce at 450, sure, maybe even a multi-day bounce. But 2-year definitely coming in, definitely showing some weakness, and we did get a nice trade off on this yesterday. Took a break even on the second half, and that's how you do it. So in any case, 5-year coming down again, 200 MA right there. A 1-day bounce, you might get a Pierce. Let's just say 405. We can get down to, look, there's some pivots right here, right there, right. So maybe a Pierce of the 200, and we'll look for the 5-year right in that range. 10-year through this level, I'm a little surprised. So next area, again, just to do this again, is right around 410. So again, who knows? Maybe Monday we gap down and rally back up, and they could still hold this level here. But it did come back in today, and if we get through that, it's down to there, and then really down to 4%. You got the 200 moving average and the whole round number there. But those are your short-term levels there on the 10 and 30 coming down. Again, the long end is still the strongest. I'm not so convinced this level is ready to break. We'll see what we get. Short term, we'll just say 4.3 there on the 30, and we'll just go from there. If it continues lower, then obviously 4.2, 200 MA pivot low right in that area, and then obviously a monster level at 4%. That's not going to happen right away, but that could if we get down there. So anyways, XHB, another pattern here, same thing, just like the transports, just like the Russell. Bullish inside bar and new 52-week highs for the XHB. Not all-time highs yet. It's not that far away, though. Let's just draw it in there, 86.61. So we'll make that exact. There you go. So there's your new that would be your new all-time high there on the XHB. Again, really overbought here, but it's having a powerful move. And again, that 70 level held. And ever since then, it's been off to the races. So XHB continuing up. Again, very interest rate sensitive. When yields come down, home builders like it. VNQ, interest rate sensitive. When yields come down, they like it. I thought 82 would be good resistance here in the short term. Not a shorting level, but just short-term resistance. It pulled back for 2 days and then got a really big bid. Next level, 84.50 to 85. There's going to be a lot of res there. But big move for VNQ. Big power move, 2.5%. Again, not something that's up 2.5% in a day very often. So big pop there for REITs. And finally having a nice recovery here. And you're back above all 4 major moving averages on the daily now. XLF, again, another big winner this week. I already got that resistance marked out right there. So right around 36.25. Just what can you say? What a pop here for XLF. We talked about 31.50 and that held. Again, just like the XHB, the 70 level, big thrust there. KRE, I wish this gave us more of a pullback here. I wanted to go long, but I can't chase it now. We talked about 48, maybe 48.50. That's kind of your near-term level there on the KRE, but really repairing these charts here. KBE, same thing. You get through that. You get through this top here. This can do a little bit more, maybe into the 43, 44 area. So watch that on the weekly there. But banks definitely repairing things here. Again, things that were losers this year are starting to get a bid. We may start to see, by the way, we're going to be on watch for January effect plays. Some of those may be banks, things that are beaten down, getting tax loss sold. But we'll talk about that more as we get closer to the end of the year. But anyways, broker dealers here up 1.6, 510, and then 522. Those are the levels to watch there. So oil here continuing to roll over from yesterday. If you lose this pivot, it's down into the upper 60s. That's a buy zone down there, depending on if and how we get down there. If we go in a straight line, like let's just say over the next week or so, we do one of these, I think it could be bought and played for a swing. If it comes down here, then does one of these, then I don't want it. But in any case, crude on the weaker side, OPEC meeting didn't help out. We back tested the trend line, and we are heading lower here. Nothing to do with it right now. XLE, I'm not touching that one either. That will get a better chance to enter these energy plays later on. Same thing with XOP. I would consider it at a Pierce of 130. Then OIH here, nothing doing there either. CCJ actually had a red day, so we have to call the market police up. But it was down 52 cents, and it did make a new high. But, it closed the week above that pivot, actually closed the month above that pivot as well last month. So again, if this continues higher, we'll give it the upside bias to 50. Again, ton of FOMO in this right now. A lot of fund managers are not meeting their benchmarks, and they are chasing winners. URNM, little red day there today. That can get to double top around 52, no problems there. Nat Gas, another nothing burger here. I don't know what this wants to do here in the short term. We had the contract gap. We rolled over and filled it. And really nothing doing here on Nat Gas. Dollar index. So this is interesting to me. So dollar index today. We'll talk about gold in a second. But gold, new all-time highs. Dow, new 52-week highs. Russell up, 3%. Spiders up 62 basis points. Dollar should be getting smoked, right? Dollar just an inside day. We did reject the 200. But if you look here on the intraday, like this 4-hour pattern, it's really not broken. Like this could still firm up and continue higher. Now, again, I'm not saying that it does has to do that, but I'm just saying the dollar showing relative strength considering all those other things, bonds surging higher, right? Dollar should be getting smoked, right? And inside day. So dollar may have some, may get a counter trend bounce here again. Here's your 618. And it held. So, you get through that 200, this can work its way back up to 104.40. Then if it gets through that, it can go to 105. So the dollar is not in terrible shape, relatively speaking. If it continues lower, this is where it's going, right to that trend line. So we'll be watching for that here. But, dollar showing a little bit of relative strength, considering all the happenings in the market today, specifically gold, with new all-time highs up 1.64% on gold futures. Gold yesterday, for the first time ever, closed the month above 2,000. And, again, I just threw this trend line in. You can see that there. That's a weekly close above that. So we'll see what this does here. We've seen this fake out so many times, right? But gold may be on breakout here. So until proven otherwise, that's a new all-time high and a new all-time closing high on a weekly pattern for gold futures. GDX continued higher today. If I can type that in, there we go. I think this can be bought on dips. I think silver can be bought on dips and pullbacks. I think the silver miners can be bought on dips and pullbacks. You guys know I think platinum can be bought on dips and pullbacks. In fact, this pattern is actually not terrible on the daily. I think palladium, on the other hand, is a little tougher. If you have a longer term horizon, this is a good area, but shorter term, it's the weakest of the metals right now. Right now, I'll say this too. Gold is sniffing out a pivot. When that pivot comes, gold might sell off. That's kind of how it works. But right now, it's really strong, and you definitely don't want to fight this. I don't like chasing. I will not chase. I never will. Even here, if you chased this, you could have gotten it right here on the pullback. You would have thought, right, okay, it's a blue sky breakout. You got to just buy it, but you've got a chance a year later to do that. GDX, right? Heck, let's use WPM, because I remember people were telling me to buy this in 2020, and look at where it's gone. So don't think you have to chase. That's the whole thing I'm saying here. But gold may be on breakout there. So, in fact, from a technical perspective, it is, until proven otherwise. Copper looks much better here. So I still think there's a chance this goes down into this low area here, near the lows of last year. But right now, what did I say? If we close the week above that red bar, it's probably going to go higher, and that's what it did. So we got a wedge breakout here. That's bullish. In short term, you got the 100 MA there on the weekly. And I want to see what it looks like at $4. I think it wants to go there, and we'll evaluate it from there. Again, if we go into recession, it's like copper is kind of, pricing in a pivot here, but there's also that recessionary force behind it. So again, I think there's a chance it could still come down. But right now, you got to call a spade, and the chart is bullish here in the near to medium term. So we'll definitely respect that on copper futures. Lastly, Bitcoin continuing to hold up, peaking through that high there. This can go to 40,000 in the short term. If it overshoots, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see 44, 45. I don't like this rising wedge as much. If I had to pick a coin to be in, I would say ETH. This is a very nice bullish inside bar, and it's visible on the daily and the weekly. I like that pattern. I actually like ETH a little bit here. How high could this go? Well, you have a level around 24, but pattern-wise, that's actually really strong, and I don't really see any problems with it. Good spacing between the moving averages. The other one I like, as I've told you, is Solana. So that one looks a little bit better here. So if I had to pick and I mean, this could go to 80, right? So if I had to pick one, I would say probably ETH is the best and Solana is the second best. But again, Bitcoin holding up, and again, we'll give the upside bias to prove another. So if you break this, if you slice through this, this is a rising wedge breakdown. It could be a bear reversal if it can't break bull and hold this little breakout that it's doing. So just be aware. These can come down very sharply if they fail. But in any case, technically it wouldn't be a failure because rising wedge is technically a bearish tightening reversal. But just be aware of that. But I don't see any real problems outside of that right now. But I do like ETH and Solana a little better. All right, anyways. So again, right now, big week for the bulls. Again, historic November. We are through that all-time high trend line. And again, next levels here, 46.07. We'll test that on Monday, I'm sure. And then 46.37 that's the big line in the sand here going into the end of the year. And we'll see how the market trades out into next week, getting into that. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Have a great weekend. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Talk to you guys all next week.